go.
Peace and blessings. What's going on, brother? What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Man, for what it's worth, seriously, thank you for taking this short time out so we can talk about your career, your music, and all of that. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that, considering, because, you know, I was there during the week thinking, I know I've got someone, I've got an interview. There's someone on my interview list. And I just couldn't think who it was. And I'm like, Grant, you know, you interview someone. I know I am. I just couldn't think. So I was there creating the show, putting a playlist together. And then I just seen your name come up, like, in my emails. And I was like, oh, snap, it's him. So I had to hit you up. And I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here.
I'm grateful to be here, man. Thank you for inviting me through, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Respect, dude. So this is how we're gonna do it. I don't want to go longer than half an hour.
Okay.
If I can help it. Between 20 minutes and an hour. I mean, 20 minutes and half an hour, right? And then after that, I'm gonna ask you to play. We're gonna play 2 of your tracks on the show. You know what I mean? And then the show's gonna air on Tuesday. This Tuesday coming, and that will be on Wild One Radio, and also, and of course, Re-Rocks R920 later on at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So all that will be, all that will get going. Soon after this, I've got to get to work, man. So you know, I mean, and then I can't even watch the Super Bowl until tomorrow, man.
Oh,
good. Yeah. Because for the simple reason, it's like the time difference. Okay. And I got work in the morning, okay. And I should have used my brain, really. I should have just put the day off work so I could just watch the Super Bowl live. You know what I mean? But anyway, we'll talk about all of that.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are, brother.
I'm ready, Pop.
All right. Then, here we go. Big up to everyone on the Instagram tuning in right now. You know what I mean? Thank you for the support. Here we go. BDSIR Network, the best damn show in Wild One Radio. Re-Rocks the Spot R920, International Street Radio. I was going to say Street Madness. Yo, shout out to Street Madness Radio, just for sake of it. And big ups to Mix Mafia Radio as well. Y'all know how the thing set. My name's Grand Body P, a.k.a. the Daywalker, a.k.a. the Final Boss. Yo, up in the building right now. I'm not alone. I got the man, Carl. Actually, before I even, introduce him, you have to understand, people. His new album is out there right now. Tinker Hip Therapy. You know what I mean? We're going to discuss that album and his career. And it's Super Bowl season. We're going to talk about it all. Yo, I needed to acknowledge this man. I needed to acknowledge hip-hop right now. You know what I mean? Therapy is important. You see me? Right? Yo, I've got to get myself some therapy. In fact, I get therapy every day. You know what I mean? Hip-hop is therapy. Yeah. Shout out to the man called ADMONISH. Welcome to the Repifew Hip-Hop Show, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. Thank you for inviting me through. I'm blessed, man. I can't complain, and thank you for remembering me and bringing me on board.
Brother, you know what? I'm glad you said you're feeling amazing right now. You know what I mean? And I know very soon it's a great time to be admonished right now. You see me? Because there's not many there's not many relationships and marriages that go on for this long. Mm-hmm. I just learned that you're about to celebrate 30 years in marriage.
Yes. Thank you, God.
There's relationships out there that don't last 30 minutes.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Oh gosh, man, big ups to the ladies, man. The ladies, they don't want a 1 minute, man. They don't want a 2 minute, man. 30 years! Try 30 years!
30 years, brother. March 1st, it'll be 30 years, man.
Wow. Yes, big ups, man. Big ups.
Thank you, my brother. I'm grateful. One of the key aspects I would say about life in general is communication. And one thing that my wife has taught me is that communicating allows two people to understand where the other person is and
Yeah.
grow. And I say that not just for relationships, but in me communicating how important music is to me, and my wife accepting that and wanting to be a part of it. Like a lot of people don't know, like I'm a
Mm.
self-contained unit. I write, I produce, you know, I record myself, I mix myself, but visuals that you see, my wife is actually the person holding the camera. So
Oh wow.
yes,
Oh
so
man.
yes. So it's
I,
definitely a team effort.
I love things like that, man. You know what I mean? I love things like that. The support, I mean, the supporter, your biggest fan. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Holding it. So you telling me she was the lady who was holding the camera and doing all the editing and all that when I seen you do the video for
Exit,
like exit plan
exit plan.
and all that.
Yes.
That
No,
was
so
her.
she what my wife has a artist eye. So when it comes to colors, when it comes to locations, her visual. So what I'll do is like with Exit Plan, I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to do some driving scenes. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And when I told her that, in her mind, she was like, remember this street, this background, and then remember when the trees were here, let's go there. So I'll give her my idea. She'll, because the way her eyes work, she remembers locations. So when she's holding the camera, she's like, look, I like the way this tree sits here and the background here, and then you wearing this. So she's the visual for that. I do the editing, the video editing, but
Right.
believe me, when I'm editing, she's right here, like, no, not that cut, do this cut. And I those moments for me are beautiful because it's not me being an artist anymore. It's a husband and wife sharing what they enjoy, and that's creative. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love that. You know why I love that, Admonish?
What's up, Pop?
Because I know I never have that.
Ah.
No, I respect it, but it's not just about me. It's about, you know, sometimes I see guys like
Mhm.
yourself who are very, you're very artistic, you're very ambitious. You got, you know what I mean, you got everything going. And then, it's like the partner is like, well, you always doing this, you always doing that. What about me? And and it don't go so like that sometimes. You know what I mean? I've heard stories of guys they're going in the studio, they're making album and all that, and the wife's not even the wife, but the partner's like, I bet you up in there with all them bitches. Oh my god, I hate that. That's the real reason why I love what you're doing right now, man. To the point where you got a tune on the album called La La La,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that speaks on on your lady and and traveling the world, doing great things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, La La. So what I did with La 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 was
Yeah.
So yeah, great cross point. So La 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 is absolute. First of all, everything on La 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 is actually real. So when I talk about walks in the park and holding hands and all of that, these are actual things that my wife and I do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we take our kids and our nephews when it snows. We take them sledding, and so I actually wrote our time together on a piece on a piece of music. But what I did differently, a lot of people may not have like I didn't mention my wife's name, and the two reasons. One, I didn't mention her name because if I mention her name, it'll make it less personable to whoever's listening
Right.
to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. People can relate if you
Yeah.
generalize it. Yeah, yeah.
And the other reason is because in sync licensing, when music supervisors are listening to music, they want music that's as general as possible because it matches the scene or whatever's going on at the moment. So if I were to put my wife's name in there, Lori, they would only be looking for that song to fit a character named Lori, where since I didn't mention the name, they could fit it to any relationship. And so
Mm.
it's personal, but every time I act musically or entrepreneurial, personally, I always incorporate business into it. And how does this fit the business? How does it fit the overall look? So La 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 is personal,
Yeah.
but I like to say it's personal for everybody in a relationship.
Fantastic, man. It's like, yeah, man. I mean, I like your decision to not mention a name, even though you could have done. Like, in the sense of, like, say Kendrick Lamar, for example, he got a tune called Gloria.
Yeah.
That just happens, you know what I mean? That just happens to be about his pen. That time it's the same name of his wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, we're going to talk about him later on. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about you right now. Shout out to the friend of the program, Lady Miz. You know what I mean? Watch out for her. She's returning to the show very soon. She has a question, and I don't know if you can see it right there. So it goes like this. How do you submit to sync licensing agency?
So there's no sync licensing agency per se. So what you'll be submitting to is the ideal submission will be to a music supervisor. A music supervisor is someone who, like, I don't know, just say the movie Wakanda. They will hire a music supervisor whose only responsibility is to marry the music with the scenes and the theme of the movie. Now, you can imagine how super busy music supervisors are. And a music supervisor, the way the industry works is the film director would tell the music supervisor 2 or 3 days before they need the music, I need music. So if you submitted to a music supervisor, he would have to look through 10,000, 20,000 submissions. The best way to submit music into the sync licensing agency is through sync libraries. Now, there's a ton of sync libraries all over the internet. You have what they call sync agents, where these individuals have relationships with music supervisors. But you definitely want to go to if you want to first get into it, try the music libraries. What they do is they already have relationships. So when you're submitting music, you're actually submitting to a library that sits there. But these music supervisors and their relationships, they can type in there like with La La La, they may type in a up tempo hip hop relationship based song. And La La La, due to the information I put into the metadata, it may pop up, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna listen to these songs.
Got you. You know, I'm kind of afraid of that now. You know, not in a bad way, but like, you know, if people type in La 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 now, you know what I mean, they're not going to get the chances are they're not going to get the admonished version. They're going to get the Redman tune, La La La, that just drops. You know what I mean?
That joint's crazy. That joint's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll tell you, when I heard that, I was like, brother. No, that's big, man. That's big right there, man. Yeah, salute to the Lady Miz. I'll catch you down the road. That's all I gotta say about that. But yes, the album is out there. Yes. Hip Therapy. You know what I mean? I liked how you dropped the double meaning of this.
Yes, thank you.
You know what I mean? And we love double meanings in it. You see, to me, it's only hip hop that does this. Double meanings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, hip hop is therapy, period. You know what I mean? But for you, it's that. Plus, you actually had hip surgery. Is that right?
Yes. I'm speaking of double meanings. So yes, like you're saying, for me, the title hip therapy means for me, hip hop is therapy, and it also means I had a hip replacement surgery when I was younger. I played American football, and I had an injury to my left hip, so I fractured my left hip. And being young, I didn't pay attention to the importance of rehabilitation, so I didn't go to physical therapy after. And throughout 30 years, I realized when I went to the doctor, my doctor told me that I was actually favoring my left hip. That's why I wore out the cartilage in my right hip. And so basically, it was like bone on bone pain. And so I had to get that replaced in order for me to, be able to maneuver properly.
Oh, damn!
Yeah. I'll give you a little Easter egg. If you look at the album cover, and you
Yeah.
open it up and you see the Y in therapy, if you look closely, that's actually my hip replacement X-ray in there.
All right. I,
Let me see.
I,
Let me see if I can let y'all see this.
oh, I can see that. I see that.
Yep. So, yeah. So that's me. Actually, this is actually me in the process of working out during therapy, and that what you see in my hand is the actual prescription for my hip therapy, my length of hip therapy and what needs to be done. Of course, I switched out names, like I put my corporate name in there to replace the doctor's names and all of that.
Right, right.
But the actual prescription is a real prescription.
Oh man, yeah, that's amazing. I like how you done that, man. Hey, that's what this hip hop thing's about, man.
Yes.
Creativity, man. The wildest thing about it is, Admonish, is that did you start out rhyming, or was it beat making to begin with?
So I started out as an MC. My issue, and I'm talking about when I first started. When I first started, I was an MC. My issue was I, I'm I'm not the type of person to just sit back and let things happen. I want to know the business. I want to know how the beats are made. I want to know
Yeah,
because I love information and I love learning. So I couldn't find beats that would marry my lyrics. So I would literally sit with producers like, look, play this record, play this part, sample it, do this, and then
yeah.
sample this and do these drums. So when one of my producers were like, I'm not producing the record anymore, you're producing it. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go buy some equipment. Now, so that's how I started. So about 8 years ago, I stopped doing music. The industry, I wasn't feeling the industry. I wasn't feeling how the money transferred. I wasn't feeling none of that. So I left it and I started a clothing brand, Delory Apparel, with my wife, and I did no music. So ironically, one of my friends one day after 8 years, like, yo, I need some beats, and I was like, I don't do beats.
Mm.
Like I was telling him, I was like, I don't do music no more. But the very next day, the bug hit me. I pulled out the equipment. I started making beats. And then the day of my surgery, I told my wife, I think I'm gonna start writing again. And she was like,
Mhm.
well, whatever makes you feel better, whatever allows you to release, whether it's beat. So that's why the music, the production allowed me to get back into writing. But the fact that my mind is different from when I was young, it allowed me to speak from a more adult intellectual perspective. Because I grew up in the South Bronx, and all my rhymes in the past were basically about activities that were going on during my youth in the land where I was living.
Amazing, man, amazing. Yo, big up yourself, man. Seriously for that.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, man, that is good. Yeah, the other thing I like is that there's a running theme throughout this album here as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Running theme. Um, a lot of a lot of a lot of artists out there. Y'all need to take note. You don't just throw tune together and then fling it on Spotify. You know what I mean? No. You really want to know your story. Where are you representing right now? Where are you living?
So right now, I'm living in New Jersey. I live literally right across the river from Manhattan. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York, and what I call Hudson County, New Jersey. Both of those are real urban inner city environments. And to be like, a lot of people don't like, Hudson County has about 10 cities inside of it. And when I moved from the Bronx to New Jersey, I actually I lived in 8 of the 10 cities in Hudson County. I moved around a lot when I was young. So right now I represent New Jersey, but I always tell people I represent the inner city, man, because I come from where you come from, and we struggle the same way. And to
Yeah.
me, it's never about separating people. It's always about bringing people together and creating unity amongst us, man.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. See that, especially in them videos. You know what I mean? So I mentioned Exit Plan, and there's a next one that happens to be my favorite tune on the album as well. what the thing called, the other video you did? Help me out here.
So I did videos for Exit Plan, I did videos for Specialists, and we did a video
Specialist.
for the Lori Jacket line.
Specialist is the one, man. I heard that, and you went off, man. You blacked out.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I wrote that in 5 minutes.
What?
I wrote it in 5 minutes because the beat, it just took me, and strategically, when I started writing Specialist, I think it was the third song I wrote. Strategically, yeah.
When I mean a record, I mean, is that like the fastest time you've ever wrote a record?
No. I'm gonna say no because previously, years ago, on one of my mixtapes, I actually freestyled an entire song, so I didn't even get a chance to write it. When I was in the booth, when I heard the beat and the words just started coming, and it was funny because it was kind of like I didn't even know what was happening. I'm just rhyming, and when I finish and I look at my boys, they're looking at me like, "Yo, how you put a hook in there?" And I was like, "I don't know. It just came out. Like, what do you want me to tell you?" Yeah. So 5 minutes probably be like the second fastest I've ever written a song. Yeah.
Damn, that tune is flames. Five of that.
Thank you, brother.
5 of that. Yo, that's my tune right there on the album, man. I mean, word up, man, word up. But another thing I need to, ask you in your career. Now, this is very early on, you know what I mean? And I just want to get your story. Jam Master Jay, true or false, you worked with him?
So, yeah, Jay, God rest his soul, is a beautiful individual. What the situation with Jay was, so I used to be part of a crew. Me and another gentleman named Cyclops Castro from Brooklyn. I met him through his brother was a manager. His brother heard me rhyming, introduced me to Cyclops. So we're rhyming. They had great relationships within the industry. One of their cousins was actually a fashion designer who was blowing up at the moment. So one day our demo lands in the lap of JMJ. JMJ calls us out to a meeting, and when we're sitting there, JMJ kept looking at me, and I'm like, I'm from the streets, so I'm like, why you keep looking at me? And he was like, I don't want to disrespect anybody. He goes, but your voice, the way you flow, I want to work with you. And I was like, look, I'm with it. Yeah, I was like, I'm with it. But I'm going to leave my people behind type person. I was like, we have to figure something out. So Jay was like, look, Jay literally gave me his business. He gave me his business card. And I was like, I told my crew, I was like, listen, I'm not going to leave you. I don't do that. I'm not here just chasing money and breaking relationships. This may be a foundation to do something. They had an issue with that. I still recorded with my man Cyclops. We still remained good friendship. But me and Jay would communicate on the regular. What I loved about Jay was Jay never not answered the phone. Jay never not. Wow. I know I'm gonna date myself, but Jay never not answered my pages. If I paged him, he called me back. He would invite me up to JMJ Records. And what solidified the relationship one day I just popped out. I said, yo, I'm gonna come to the office. He said, yeah, come through. And when I came up, he was on the phone with somebody, and I was like, yo, that's Domingo. And he was like, Domingo? And Domingo got on the, he put it on speaker. And when we see, that's my man Admonish. And Jay was like, yo, people. I'm like, yeah, but it's always about the music. It ain't about parties with me. It's about the music. Like, I got something to say and I want to say it. And Jay always respected that. Unfortunately, Jay passed away around the time that, we were communicating. But I would always hold our relationship dear because he was always Jay. He wasn't a celebrity with me. And that resonated with me immensely. And him and Big Pun are always be in my heart because they both treated me as a human being, and they were always human beings around me.
It's the Big Pun, man, you know what I mean, to celebrate, well, I don't know if it's a celebration, well, you can celebrate his life, you know what I mean, it was 25 years since he left the building. Yeah. People will put that up on their socials. I put up Ghostface album, because that album came out at the same time, You know what I mean? That's what everyone who knows me well, they already know my story with me and Supreme Clientele album. If they don't know the story, you should not be my friend. Okay, call off my social media.
Yo, that's Supreme Clientele is one of Ghostface. Period is one of my favorite MCs. Period.
There you go.
Word.
He's the same with me. One of my favorites, if not my favorite of all time. You see me? Shout out to the lady called Patrice Lee. I see you. Another friend of the program, man. Lady Biz has another, matter of fact, Lady Biz is like my unofficial co-host today. So big ups to her. She got another question for you, and that is, how do you market your music?
Okay, so marketing my music, the first thing I do with my music is, and please artists, listen to this. The first thing I do when I'm marketing my music is I make sure I got good music. Because it's not about just putting ads or whatever. So the strategy between marketing my music is really resonating with people. I have this theory about marketing. I'm only marketing to the 250 people who listen to what I listen to. Because if I market to someone who listens to music outside of what I do, I'm wasting my marketing budget on people who aren't even interested in the music. Because if I focus on the core of my audience will speak to those outside of my core, and that's how it'll continue to grow. So I can't market to 7 billion people. I can only market to those who I feel fit within my demographic. And my demographic is underground hip hop. It's struggling people who go through the struggle, because the struggle ain't easy. People who love to listen like Nas and Ghost. And so if I was to market my music to Drake fans, it may not make sense to them. So why waste my budget with them? You feel me?
We don't do Drake over here, but I'm just letting you know from now.
I'm with you. I've never listened to a Drake record. Not to diss him, but to real talk, his music doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah. I feel that, man. I don't have hate for the dude like that, man. But boy, I know the people's around me. They hate the guy. Them hate him, and I'm like, but we're not his audience, though. And if we're not his audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I shouldn't hate the guy. You know, in a way, I see where they're coming from, which is a great segue. Which is a fantastic segue, and it's Super Bowl season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And off the grid, you was telling me, oh, I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl and all of that. You know what I mean? And that's why I'd like to talk to you longer. But why, big day and everything at time of recording this interview. How are you getting ready for it, brother?
My wife and I'm gonna say my best friend, my wife and I, we got our food together, so we got our little treats to watch before the game. We got the TV up, and what we're doing is it's just gonna be her and I, my son. We're just gonna chill. Unfortunately, my team isn't in the Super Bowl, but then again, my team hasn't been in the Super Bowl since 1969. So
whoa,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Whoa! Hey, I again. Just like your marriage, I respect the loyalty. You know what I mean? No, seriously, I respect the loyalty there, man. Word up, man. But it's like, yo, I mean, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you something. Nothing admonished. This will be my very first time. I'm going to pop my Super Bowl virginity today. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Real talk, because, well, the truth of the matter is, it's all about Kendrick. You know what I mean? You'd think that before that, Dr. Dre and all them, you'd think that they would have got me to watch but this year, I'm going to watch the whole thing in its entirety.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I probably don't even follow the game. I don't follow the game. I don't know what, but I'm going to follow the whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
And that brings me to this question before we close it out, Admonish. And the other question I'm talking, simply this: should Kendrick perform it, and why? You know the tune I'm talking about. Should he or should he not, in your opinion?
So it's funny you asked me this question, because I was explaining the situation to my wife last night. What I'm gonna say say is traditionally the Super Bowl always goes to either the person who has the height of popularity and excitement at the time, or it goes to someone who's so classic that, remember, the halftime show is about how many people can I get to watch the show, right? So I love Lil Wayne. I think Lil Wayne is super dope, right? Now, do I think Lil Wayne can hold a halftime show? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Wayne not only on his own, but he could do it with whoever he brings on. The only thing that I think would tap that, and I love it and respect it, that Lil Wayne and New Orleans and that marriage, I agree. The thing is, Kendrick at the moment has everyone's attention. So this may be, because he's on it, it may be the biggest viewership ever for the Super Bowl. Now, to me, because it's about business, that makes sense. I personally, now if you're asking me what I would like, I would love Kendrick to pull out Lil Wayne. I know Wayne won't do it, but if Kendrick pulled Wayne out and they did, I think it'll go crazy. I think it'll go crazy. But I understand the relationships and, you know, Wayne and Drake, and I get it. But I think Kendrick deserves it. I think he works for that. You know, like, I don't think he, like, I'm gonna be the successful to make the Super Bowl, but I think he busted his ass so much that there was no other choice but to have him in the Super Bowl. He 5 Grammys. I mean, come on, man. Like, he got the biggest record in the country for how long? It makes sense to me.
That's what I said. That's what I've been saying to people. I'm like, that tune, it's never been done before in the history of hip hop. Look how much diss records have come out over the course of time. This has never happened before. That he wins 5 Grammys based off that one tune, and it's a diss record.
Yes.
Unheard of. Yes. That will probably never happen again.
You know,
I don't think it will never be duplicated. That will never happen again.
I agree.
Lady Miss is starting to kill me, you know. I'm dreading her time on the show soon.
Yeah,
Oh yes, Kanye do something in techno views. What, he's gonna appear at the Super Bowl naked? He's gonna bring his lady on the Super Bowl wearing a house on her head. just a house, you know. She's naked, but she's wearing a house on her head. Yeah. Oh my God. No. I like your answer, man. In my opinion, the tune won a Grammy, ADMONISH. The tune won a Grammy. It's like, to me.
You know what? Here's my thing about that song. All
right.
So when you listen to diss records, right? If you listen to the history of diss records, like I'm sure you and I are of age where we've listened to quite a few diss records, right?
Yes, indeed.
So how many other songs, diss records, were a complete song? Like he besides it being a diss record, he created a fire record, period. But that fire record just happened to be a diss record. Like, the track is crazy, the flow is crazy, the in and out of the cadences is crazy, the hook is crazy. Like, and on top of that, it's a diss record. Like, there's very few of them. Nas had a dope joint, but Nas was a throat record. When I'm talking about like Hit 'Em Up was a dope record. I think the Being You from Common, when he had beef with Ice Cube, that was a dope record. It wasn't just a diss record, but it was matter of fact, Ice Cube Vaseline was a dope record.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when they diss him, they just want to go for the throat. But Kendrick made a classic hip hop record that just happened to be a diss record as well.
Yeah, I don't think Kendrick knew. I don't think even Kendrick himself knew it was going to go this far. You know what I mean? You know, it was to him. It was like, okay, I'm going to respond back. I'm going to respond back, and it's gone this far. Yes, Lady Missy could dance because my own little sister, did a dance record to it. And before, I'm honest, before that, you know what I mean? before I was trying to ignore, not like us, I was trying to ignore the beat. I was just gonna just play tune as I do on Repping For You Hip Hop Show. I wasn't trying to play the Drake and Kendrick. I wasn't trying to do it. But then it was my little sis who was like, I'm gonna dance to this record, and then that pulled me in. I had no choice. I pulled in like vacuum. That was it. I was done. You know what I mean? When you talk about Nas, for me personally, I thought Ether was the greatest well, that was near enough sing along. You know what I mean? And I felt it here as well. You know what I mean? I felt it. I will not lose. And you could twist those 4 words and put it into your own life. Like, I'm not going to lose when I'm going to do this. I will not lose when I'm about to achieve that. You know what I mean? And that's why, even like all recently, you know what I mean? You see it on sports shows or on TV, or whatever, and they'll, you know, the first few seconds of that beat, and people will use that as like, yeah, I'm going to address something. Bam, bam. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this.
What I like about that record, Ether, was, to me, again, Ether wasn't a diss record. Yes, it was, but the reason why I say it wasn't a diss record is Ether was all emotion, and he wasn't just dissing Jay. He was like, "Yo, no one's taking me out this game. I belong here, and this is gonna be a little thing I'm gonna leave in the air. This, you can't match my emotion. You can't match my pen. You can't match me. There will never be another Nas." That's everything that I was getting from that record. That joint, straight emotion. I love that record too, man.
Big ups to Nas, man. You know what I mean? You know, back like 20 odd years ago, if you asked me who the greatest was, I'd agree with Nas and say there ain't no best. But what Nas has done recently with the 6 album thing with Hit Boy, never been done, will never be duplicated.
No.
Now I could say Nas, in my opinion, Nas is the greatest of all. That's just my opinion. Nas is the greatest of all time now. Ladies on jump out that
I usually the Nas. Okay, my greatest of all time will always be Rakim. Like I think nobody can ever, but Nas will always be number 2 because Nas is. I think Kendrick is like Nas, and when I say that, I say Nas is a once in a generation artist. For that generation, there's no artist like him because Nas can reinvent himself. Nas can expand what he does. Nas can he can inspire the youth still. And Kendrick, I think, is one of those artists too, where 20 years down the line, Kendrick's going to still be able to drop albums, and they're still going to be able to sound original. They're still going to be able to sound crazy. And yeah, Nas is definitely one of those. You don't. He's classic. He's classic, and will always be.
No doubt. When you reach that echelon of I'm dropping new music and the world stops, that's when you know. Rakim, yes, but I know when he dropped his album last year. To me, I don't think the world stopped. I think the world slowed down, but I don't think it stopped. But I think I think there was other things at play, but that's another show altogether. Yo, ADMONISH, Repping For You Hip Hop Show. Take a bow, brother. Take a bow.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
It's like, yo, again, I could speak. I wish I could have you on the show longer, but it's like, boy, Super Bowl. You know what I mean? We're getting ready for that. You know what I mean? You got your food. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be getting rid of myself. Word up. I want to see history being made and everything. You know, at time of recording this. ADMONISH, have you got any last shout outs? And how can people follow you? And then, yo, just bring all that. Let's bring all that out here now.
All right. First and foremost, man, I want to thank God. I want to thank my family, and I want to thank all the people who supported me and helped me on a constant basis. I want to thank everyone who likes all my posts and is on there listening to the music and adding my music to their playlist. The fact that you're making me a part of your life is more than I can't show enough gratitude for that, because my intent is only to express what you do with it, I can't control. And the fact that you making it a part of your life and part of your soundtrack means so much to me. The way to get in contact with me is Admonish Music Everything. It's the website, it's the IG, it's the TikTok, it's Snapchat, it's YouTube, Facebook, Admonish Music, everything. And I listen, man, I ain't Hollywood. You reach out to me, I'm gonna reach right back and I'm gonna tell you thank you. I'm gonna tell you peace. I might answer a question. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for helping me extend my words. And thank you for making me a part of your life, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. And my brother, thank you for having me on the show. It means so much. Anytime you want me to come back, it's not a problem, man. Just hit me up. I'm here.
Blessings, brother. Salute each and every time. Let's close this out, man. People, Hit Therapy. It dropped as soon as 2025 dropped.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Kick off the year. That's how we're doing it. 2 tunes from that album, Admonish, of your choosing that you want played on the show right now. And we got play it. That's how it's going.
Okay, so the first joint I want played, please, because it took me 20 years to write this song, is Baby, the dedication to my kids.
All right.
I would love to hear Baby, and I would love for people to hear Specialist.
Yeah, I see it. I see you gotta sweep my ears right now. You gotta sweep my ears, man. Yeah, man. Baby, Specialist.